G'day listeners and welcome back to another episode of the Keeper League podcast. We're the AFL fantasy podcast that doesn't talk about the superstars. We only talk about the lesser knowns and the players who are going to bring value to your draft and Keeper League teams. And if I sound upbeat and enthusiastic, you may think I have won the grand final on the weekend, and you would have assumed incorrectly because I got fucking torched again in my second straight grand final. So it's a bit of a shit feeling today, and here to dissect it all with me is my good mate Kaes. How are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm much more upbeat than you.
Yeah, I know. You were actively cheering against the Hoofers all year.
Oh,
and it's like you've actually won a grand final yourself, really.
Feel like what a Port supporter or a Crow supporter would feel like when, you know, they're...
Ken Hinkley left?
No. It's just like there's this hatred that if you can't win it, you don't want basically the opposite team to win.
I respect that. Like, that's exactly how I felt when your team was up and about, because like I didn't have to do a podcast with you each week because I know how much I gave it to you when I won the flag.
Exactly.
And you didn't, so I didn't want it to happen either. I understand.
Two things. One, I don't want you to be two flags in front of me. Like, I feel one is achievable and I can get back on level pegging.
That's how
so
I feel
that's
if
one.
the Crows win the flag this year.
And secondly, you know, you've always just niggled at me about trading away good young players for proven players when you want to try and win a flag, and you've done this and it hasn't worked for you too, so it makes me feel so warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit of a, I don't know, it's just a shit feeling really, and it was a bad weekend, but it's the type of thing that like, we'll dissect the grand final in a second, but it's the type of thing where it's like, so much of this shit comes down to luck.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, and some people just have all the luck in the world, you know, on the big day.
One person has all the luck in the world,
and the other person doesn't usually, so... It sucks, but we'll recap the actual grand final. We'll give you a blow-by-blow. And I don't know how many people actually listen to this, and people might not give a shit about our home league grand final, but it's content, and we'll talk about it now. Anyway, so this is how the weekend started. So basically, it all started with like last week, really, when Nick Vlosten went down for me. I'd already lost Bergman, already lost Doherty to retirement. That retirement came around way too early. So I'm struggling for a defender all week. I'm thinking I might have to field Judd McVee. Thursday night teams come out. The only player I have potentially that could play okay and, you know, maybe get me a 60 or a 70 is Sardell Hawley, but he's not named in the team. So I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to play Judd McVee. And then it kind of the drama started straight up, really. I got a notification on the Keeper app. Sam Durham isn't out, so he was in my team. I was like, well, here it goes. It's fucked out. So it's over for me. I'm going to have to bring on Warple who score me 40 or maybe even be sub or whatever. But I saw the late in with Sardell Hawley, so that was a real good start for me. Was able to kind of use a loophole there, but there is a little bit of loophole trauma considering I lost the grand final last year because of a loophole.
Yes, correct.
That wasn't even my shit coaching. It was just it was my shit coaching, I guess, in the end, but a bit of bad luck there.
Got too loop happy.
Yep. Missed out there. Anyway, Sardell Hawley is in my side and comes in and like actually scores like a 68. Like I was expecting a 30 from Judd McVee given like his previous.
Which is what he got.
He got 50 in the end. Judd McVee got 50 in the end.
Did he?
I think, yeah. So it was a lot better than he could have gone.
He got 24.
Well. Judd McVee? Mm-hmm. No, he got 50 on the weekend.
24.
No, I don't know. I thought it was higher than that. Anyway.
So you already got a winning. That's it, you know.
A win there.
Master coach stroke.
Yeah. So I got that one there. And then, you know, so that was it. It started right. I looped him on. There's a bit of trauma there. I was worried about the getting a donut somewhere along the line, but it didn't happen, thankfully. But then went on to Thursday. Friday was good as I could really hope for. The other coach had Dacos and Viney both going pretty low. Had Salem go high in there. And then the big thing for me, though, in the Crows game versus Gold Coast, Fiorini came out with a big 117 out of nowhere. I was expecting maybe an 80 from him, maybe, but that was huge. And, like, it kind of put me ahead. So it really started off the weekend well, and things were going to plan. And then Saturday started really well as well. Like, Dawson and Luke Parker in my team as a forward, both going really big early on in the game. And then I guess the common theme of the weekend, though, was like so many of my players were on huge scores at three-quarter time and just didn't finish off. Like they just did nothing in the last quarter. And like there was players where, you know, for example, I had Dawson, Parker, Jeremy Cameron, Amon, all were like around the 90 mark, 100 mark at three-quarter time. And the highest one was 107 out of all of them. So like... I don't know.
Tons are good, but you need those big 120s.
You need
to
a
kind
couple,
of win
in a grand final. You need a big one. But like, it wasn't looking too bad though, because like my opponent had Millera go low in the Crows game. Blitzarves got subbed out on 44. So I was like, this is really going my way at the moment.
handy.
Like he's had a few like tons as well, but like a lot more lower floor scores than I've had. So I was like, these are going to cost him in the end. And things were looking fantastic. Like Saturday night, I'm talking to my son Alf, was like, oh, I might bring a trophy home tomorrow if I'm really lucky. And he's starting to get excited because he wants to like, get photos with it and stuff like that. So
Drink some chalky milk.
yeah,
out
exactly.
the
Getting
trophy.
really excited about it. So talking about that sort of stuff. But then it all started going to shit then. So Grundy was supposed to get minimum of 130, I would have thought, against the opponent.
And you put the captaincy on him.
Put the captaincy on him, and he scored me an 86 points. Like, this is the thing of the weekend. So I was like, there were so many good stories in my favour in this game. So like, in this weekend, like there's a few. The big one was like, for me, the biggest ones were like Dawson needed like a 3-vote game for the Brownlow. You know what I mean? So I was thinking like 150 this week, and he's going to have one of those monster games. He never scores well. He doesn't seem to score well at Adelaide Oval, but he seems to go well under the roof, dry conditions, takes lots of marks, that sort of stuff. So I was like, yeah, big game there.
Great thinking.
I was like, Cameron needs to keep that 100 goals in check. There's surely like
I think
7 or
want
8.
to feed him.
Yeah, 7 or 8 goals are coming this weekend. What was the other one in there? Oh, Zorko's 300. I'm like, that is definitely going to be a huge score because they're going to feed him and get him heaps of touches in his 300th. And then the other one was Cameron. I thought like, the other one, did I say Cameron? There was one more. No, Grundy, was the other one. Coming up against a soft opponent. Every other ruck's gone huge against them this year on a big deck. So he
wants the All-Australian jacket.
Wants the All-Australian jacket, like 130 coming up their minimum. So none of those guys actually got to those points. So yeah, from Saturday when I captained Grundy, it all went downhill from there.
Back up against the wall.
The other thing that I had Jake Lloyd and Jack Graham. They performed really well. They got close to 100. So I was like, that kind of evens it out, Like I'd take 80 from Lloyd, 80 from Graham, and if I added that onto Grundy, he's effectively got me 200, points there. So I will take that 100 in a grand final. The way I kind of shifted around, and I was still projected to win at this point as well by about 40 odd points. But then my thinking was it was all going to come down to Bont, like what Bont did on the Sunday. And I was like, if he can get just like a normal score, like I was chatting to Geordie
Like
by
100.
text, like 100, 110, maybe 120 max. Like I'm in with a shot. But then like I was on my way home from my son's soccer game and I got a message from Geordie and he's like, McRae sub. And my heart just sank because I was like, this is the start right here. I did kind of expect it though. Like I even put on the group chat the night before, like I'm expecting McRae to be sub. And he was, but I was like, he can still come on at halftime, maybe still outscore Walker's 46 on the
Early
bench.
injuries.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I had to take Taylor Walker's 46, which is frustrating because I had Riley West go 100 plus. But I'm never going to field him. I'm always going to take Walker against North Melbourne.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm going to, that type of thing. Yeah, Riley West against in Freo on a must-win kind of game. So, yeah, that kind of hurt a little bit. But then this game started and Connor Iden just wasn't. He'd been a consistent 70s guy all year, averaging 75, whatever. And in the finals, he's gone back-to-back like sub-50 scores for me. So, been awful. And then even in this game, like he had Toby Green in the game. He was on like 30 at halftime. So I was like, he's going low. This is great for me. Just need that Bont to go low and we're good here. But then Toby Green ended up just piling on in the last quarter.
Bang, bang, bang.
And then onto the Dogs. So yeah, Bont just went bananas, really.
141.
We had 141 and then English as well. So Bont and English, 2 players that you've given him during the course, and you probably would have won 5 in a row if you've kept these players and not trade them. But
You gave me Bont, let's not forget that.
I did give you Bont, but I admit I didn't even know who he was back then. I wasn't really following fantasy very closely.
Oh, excuses.
But anyway, then basically Liver and Brayshaw in this game, but just no ceiling. Brayshaw was cooked fantasy-wise, I think. So
And he got injured early in the game.
A finger there that kind of hurt him a little bit, I reckon. But it was basically over from that point. But like the thing is, like, it was going into the last game. I had Eamon, Warple, and Zorko plus 65 points in the bank versus Dunkley, Rayner, Newcomb, Battle, and Gunston. And I didn't even really watch this game. I went for a walk. I was like, fuck this. This sucks. I need to clear my head. But then, like, every time I kept checking back at the scores when I was out walking, I was always around 20 points down.
You just kept hanging on.
Yeah, kept hanging on for a long time. And then 3/4 time, there was actually a late score update. And I was only down by like 18 points at 3/4 time. And I was like, this is on here. Like, anything could happen from here. Like, no one...
Injuries.
Yeah, exactly. Injuries,
subs,
people
whatever.
doing... And then I ended up going down by 100 points in the end. So, like...
Cam Rayner went bananas.
Cam Rayner just had a 53-point quarter. Dunkley ended up with 136. Eamon, again, like, was on 100 at 3/4 time. Got 6 in the last quarter. Just things like that. So, like, now that we've, like, gone back and worked it out. There's absolutely no way I could have won. Like no combination of players.
So was it 10 points?
10 points I could have got closest to. So just wasn't, on my day. And, ended up, I think it was under 100. I think it was about 90 something in the end. But just wasn't my weekend. And the winner of the flag gets another one. We don't mention his name on this podcast.
It's like Voldemort.
Yeah. But wasn't to be. So what did you make of the whole weekend? What are your thoughts on, losing grand finals to subs and stuff like that?
It stinks.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes next year.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, hopefully. I think McRae's a tough one because he's a guy that can easily get 100. So you still feel you're alive then, but you live and die by your captains. I think with some of these things. So like as soon as Grundy kind of puts out that 91 or whatever it was, 89, like your back's up against the wall.
Yeah.
Like even last week, prelim, another leg, like I had Goulden captain and he stunk it. And apart from like, you're dead in the water from there.
Yeah.
Because
it's kind of what I like about Sheev with no captains. You kind of...
It does make it a bit more even because like you just do take that, there's not as much discrepancy between a 140 and a 90 kind of thing. Like, yes, you've lost 50 points to that, but you've really lost 100 kind of. So it does make a big difference. Look, you're probably a bit cruelled by injury heading in there, just with some depth. Like, if you look at take away Tex and Saad El Hawley, who played for you, like you didn't have a ruck or a midfield emergency. So like you had a laid out there, you were completely fucked. So like whereas Voldemort, he had cover, in the bench there. So I know it does get a bit tricky towards later in the season, and when you only play smaller league sizes realistically, and you don't have waivers open all year. Shit can go wrong pretty quickly. But full credit to Tom.
No, don't mention his name.
Sorry,
Timmy.
Voldemort.
His name's Tim anyway. Tim Scroat.
Tim Scroat. Another good year. But it's going to be interesting. Like, you look through his squad compared to your squad, like, you're probably just going to be a bit luckier with some of the, those more average players as opposed to the primos.
I put a poll out, which team's better for the final, and it was 70% my way. Like,
these polls that you put out are so skewed towards you. You've got a real fanboy
fans
group.
Just like me, I don't know. But no, I think they're quite... I think that like the Discord community and stuff, they're very analytical. They're full fantasy nerds, so I think they look at it quite closely. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Anyway,
I got some questions for you.
Okay.
All right. So I know we're only 12 hours out of a loss.
Yeah, this is going to be real raw.
It's not. It's about. And we discussed on the chat yesterday because I threw a little barb out to imagine if you still had Cherry in your team who scored 150, but as you pointed out, you wouldn't have made the grand final if you didn't make that Grundy Cherry trade.
Only because like I needed to win at least 2 of my last 3 games, and if I would have lost one of them if I didn't have Grundy going 150 for me, and I think I looked it up, and Goldstein had a 46 that week, so
you would have gone down.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have. So that's right. That's fate. All right, but we're going to go back through because this is obviously a trading drafting show.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go through each of your main trades that you've done this year.
Yeah.
In hindsight, do you regret the trade?
Yeah.
Like I know you can't because it helped you made grand final.
Yeah.
But like, what are your thoughts here? So you brought in Charlie Curnow and got rid of pick 1 or round 1 pick next year.
Well, he was pick 1 this year. Like he was the actual pick that I gave up.
Yes.
This one. So I got.
Are you happy with that?
Like, yeah, he's a potential to like. I think Charlie Curnow, like his average doesn't reflect.
So he'd be a keeper for you next year.
He's borderline. He's close. Okay. Yeah.
So.
I don't currently have him in, but he's one I'm tossing and turning with, and I might make some trades that might push him in. You know what I mean?
Okay. Leo Lombard for Jake Lloyd.
That's a huge win. I reckon. Just because, like, yes, I can keep Lombard as an under 50, but the scores he put up for me in the end, and then ended up getting 97 in the grand final.
And that sounds like Jake Lloyd's going around again.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if it'll be at. Don't know if it'll be at Sydney though. But also he may have forward status, which is a big thing as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
You got in Goldie and Fiorini, which Fiorini obviously helped, but you didn't really trade a hell of a lot away, so that was a free win for you. But
yeah, that was a big win.
Is Fiorini a keeper?
Again, borderline. Okay. I want to see what I can do in terms of trades for picks and stuff like that. Okay. And see what I can kind of keep in.
This is the big one. You brought in Doherty and Jack Graham, traded out Joel, Mini Bont Fraser, and Brady Hoff.
Yeah. Hoff was nowhere near he was over 50 games, so he's nowhere near a keeper for me. So it was, Baby Bont for those two.
It's effectively going to shake out to be Baby Bont for Graham.
Yeah. It's a... See, the thing is for Fraser, it's a bit different because we got the under 50. It's probably a loss because of that factor. But Fraser, like if it was going on like my best 12, he wouldn't make it. You know what I mean? Like he's nowhere near it type thing. So it's probably a bit of a loss in the under 50s. But my logic is I'll find another one of those.
Will Jack Graham be a mid only next year?
He will be. But he's still an 85 kind of guy. And he's like in a good age profile where he's like 27. You know, he's still going to give me another couple years. So it's not too bad. So it's probably a loss in terms of the under 50s that we kind of keep. But I feel like I will find another one of him in the draft. I tend to find these types.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Next one, you traded out Jai Caldwell, Brent Daniels, Jace Burgoyne, and a second round pick for Libba, Zorko, and Jeremy Cameron.
Yeah, like I had to do it. Like the thing with my list, it's the top end was getting so on that like I needed to strike now because there's too many other teams that are coming up. Like got good younger keepers than I do. So I was like, I need to strike now. I never wanted to lose Caldwell, that's for sure. But I have no problems losing the other ones because like Burgoyne probably doesn't make my best 12. What was the other one in that? Brent Daniels. Like, see, that hurts, but he's so injury prone. Like, I'd be surprised if I'd get like another. I might not even get 10 games out of him next year. Like, I'd be surprised if I do. You know. So I don't mind that one because like Jez could legit win another Coleman next year. Zorko could. I don't think he's gonna have a 100+ season, but I think he's got another 80+ season in him next year. He's their best kicker coming out of defence. He's just real slow and one injury away from being retired, really.
Yep.
But that's a push, I reckon. That's an even trade because Caldwell was a big loss. Yeah, maybe a slight loss in that one, but kind of had to do it. You know what I mean?
This is the one you obviously had to pull the trigger on. Grundy for Cherry.
Yeah, well, like I wouldn't.
Would have you rather have not made the grand final?
Yeah, I'd rather have just not made the grand final and kept Cherry. Like if this is how it was going to end, if I knew I was going to lose, like 100%, I'd not make that trade. Like it stings that one. The thing with Cherry though, like
doesn't also help that he went like 160, 150
in both the things. Yeah, but like, the thing is, it wouldn't have mattered because I wouldn't have been there if I did have him, and I wouldn't have made him captain against Rob. Like Rob's supposed to be a really hard. Like Nankervis is obvious. Like he always goes 150 against Nankervis. It was like Rob. There's no way I would have gone Dawson as captain if I didn't have Grundy that week. So like, doesn't really matter from the captaincy perspective, but it's like, yeah, like it hurts that one. But the thing is as well with like with Cherry, like he was so shit for the first half of the year, and I put it down to like him. He averaged like 8 tackles per game last year. North aren't shit enough to have that many repeat stoppages to force those tackles again anymore. And I feel they probably improve a little bit more next year, where I still see him only hovering around that 80, like that 90 to 100 mark anyway that he was kind of doing. So like I do regret in terms of now I've given up like a 27-year-old ruck who could be around for another 5-6 years for me, and I'm gonna have to look for another one pretty soon because it took me ages to find that one. Yeah, it took me ages to find Cherry.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and get a good ruck like that. But again, like forced into a situation, had to strike now. I don't think it's really going to matter because I'm probably going to have to do a bit of a like not a rebuild, but like a freshen up of my list. It's probably going to take me another 3 or 4 years to get back anyway. So by that time, Cherry's getting old. And again, like that guy to be a huge averaging player, he needs to average 8 tackles a game. Like in the last 2 weeks, it's just tackle numbers are monstrous. So that's the thing. But yeah, it does suck. I'm not happy with that one.
And lastly, just to tidy up, you basically traded out Massimo D'Ambrosio for Jack Martin.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Neither are probably going to be keepers for me. But yeah.
Traded out Bailey Humphrey for Nick Vlaston.
And again, Humphrey does hurt a little bit because he'd be forward status, but like Vlaston's going to go around again. Humphrey...
It stings because you didn't get Vlaston for what you traded him in for.
Yeah, but like, would he have gone that much bigger than 68 anyway? Like I would have maybe got an extra 20 points out of him. It wouldn't have been enough in the end anyway, so... Yeah, it hurts, and you've kind of glossed over. I've given up a few futures there as well. So I think I don't have pick 1, 2, 5, or sorry, round 1, 2, 5, or 9. I think it is.
Okay.
Next season, there might even be one less. But like I said, because I've got excess keepers, I guess I'm hoping I can get a few picks back.
Well, that's going to be interesting. So like I've kind of shaken it up. So you've kind of got your 12 would be Bergman, Lloyd,
maybe if he's a forward, but
Zorko,
probably not. Yeah, keep Zorko.
Amon.
Yep.
Warple, maybe?
Nah, probably not.
Fiorini, probably not.
Nah, probably not.
Dawson, yes. Steele, probably.
Yeah, there's one up like there's the 30+ guys. I'm going to go pretty hard to trade.
Libba.
Yeah, like I said, 30+ guys. I'm going to go hard at trading.
Brayshaw, yes. Grundy, you have to keep.
Yeah.
Cameron, yes. Parker. Will you keep forward status? Jack Graham, Jack McRae.
Pretty much, if you're under 30, you're probably a keeper in my side.
Charlie Kerner. You've got like, it's fucking old list, man.
I think the average age was like 30 in some of the rounds. So like, yeah. And that's the way you get those kind of average players in though. Like if you want to build a team that can go massive, you need to kind of get
You're going to have a busy off season.
I want to trade a lot of them. Like if I can get a lot of them out for like guys that haven't broken out yet. So like these are kind of bad examples because they didn't really average that well this year. But if I could trade one out for like the next year's Fraser that hasn't kind of played yet but going to be okay, or you know someone like I'm struggling for names off the top of my head, but if you could get like a what's your Essendon kid name?
Archie Roberts.
Archie Roberts, thank you. Archie Roberts, so someone like him, like if I could like trade Zorko out for one of those types, or even you know this one's a bad example, but like an Ollie Hollands kind of hype at the start, you know what I mean? Like some guy who's supposed to be shifting to half back. Like you trade Zorko out for like those type of punts, you know what I mean? And hopefully one of them just kind of pays off. So I think so. That's kind of like my philosophy with that. And then I'll just assess my keepers from there. Like I don't really mind having a year where I go backwards a fair bit and then improve my draft hand for the following year.
You got to be aggressive.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If you compare it to like those kind of 12 or that squad for what I'm looking at, I've got Lockie Ash, Callum Mills, Trent Rivers, Josh Worrell, Finn Callahan, Will Day, Marcus Winhager, Max Gawn, Chad Warner, Sam Flanders, Luke Jackson, and maybe like a Ollie Dempsey, Josh Weddle.
This is the thing as well,
Matt
like
Phillippo.
This is the thing as well, like where like you're the keepers, obviously for 5 years' time, better. You know what I mean? But for next year, which is probably the only thing that's really relevant for my team, if I want to have a crack at that flag.
Well, that's what you got to decide.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to go,
like,
am I just going to butter up again and go on with Dad's army, or am I going to...
So like pretty much all of my keepers will average over 80. Like type deal. So like, and that's really a pretty good position to be in, because like most people have like a few lower ones or a few potentials and that sort of stuff. Like I reckon even the Premier, the guy who won, won't have 12 keepers that average over 80. You know what I mean? There'll be a few low guys in there. He'll have Rayner probably. He told me yesterday he's keeping Rayner.
I think it's going to be a good,
good
year again next year. As I think there's, it was a pretty even comp, the top 4 or 5 this year. So
the thing is, do I have the tilt, or do I lose all my players' value? So if I risk it and don't win it, I've got value and I'm just rock bottom. You know what I mean?
I think you're better off going in. Personally, I think you're better off going in again with that squad and going, all right, well, and then reassess after, 6 weeks, 12, 10 weeks.
Yeah, that's probably the better
because then you
way.
can trade what you've basically do the reverse to what you did this year.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's probably the approach as well, because it's very hard to like trade preseason when you only keep 12.
I think you got to let the sting hurt a little bit and just cop it on the chin and go again. Otherwise,
it's also very hard to like trade preseason when you can only keep 12, because like everyone's got 12 that they want to keep, and it's just like, well,
I think you're better off going back in and trying again, and if it falls short, well,
then start
trade away,
flogging them off. Yeah, which is pretty much what the guy who finished top last year but lost in the prelim did this year, and he's probably better for it, Well, we thought it would be appropriate to get the winner of our home league grand final on. He's been referred to as Voldemort earlier on in this show. He who should not be named. We've referred to him as Timmy Scroat on the podcast quite a bit in the past, but thank you for joining us, Tim Scroat, the 2025 category premiers. How are you feeling? How were the celebrations last night?
Thank you. No, I appreciate it, and commiserations. I know it was a very brave and tightly fought battle to the end. But like we were just saying, it's the hope that kills you, and it was hopeful right up into the end. But no, it was good last night. Celebrated by trying to get my 2-year-old to use the potty unsuccessfully for about an hour. So that was good. Just watching the live stream in sitting on the bathroom floor. So really exciting times at home.
Yeah, well, that's really where this league's at, really, in terms of our age demographic, and also the quality of the football and the fantasy.
Now, really Tim, we're golf fans in our kind of group, and Scotty Scheffler just continues to win. Just wins every tournament he basically plays, and he reflected in a press conference the other day, and his quote was, "You win, you celebrate, you get to hug your family. It's such an amazing moment," and then. It's like, okay, what are we going to eat for dinner? At what point yesterday were you thinking about what you were going to eat for dinner?
Yep, that's right. Early dinner. I actually ate before the start of the last game, which was scary.
So that's how confident you were of winning.
Exactly. But I did have ice cream afterwards, as a celebration. So I think that's typical. But it's true. It's just back to work today. No one, when I rocked up at work today, no one congratulated me. Super weird.
People forget about it so quickly.
Yeah. I did walk in with the trophy. I have to get it obviously engraved, which I'll probably do myself. I'm getting better at it. I've had 5 cracks at it now in a row. I'm getting really good.
We did actually comment on that yesterday that we think it's a disgrace that you've decided to engrave the trophy yourself and not get it professionally done. But it actually has improved every year. Like the last one is quite good.
You wait another few premierships time, it's going to be spot on.
Yeah. Oh, well, anyway, such a tight ass, you do it yourself, but it doesn't matter. As long as your name's on it, it doesn't really matter. Well, anyway, you claim that you don't even watch football really, and you don't really care about fantasy. Don't even know when the games are on, yet meticulously you set your lineup as soon as round 1 ends. I've noticed you've got all your loopholes set, ready to go at the start of every game. You never miss one, all that sort of stuff. So, like, for a guy who doesn't watch football and doesn't care, what's your actual secret then?
I think it's really interesting, but I think it's all part of the narrative and the persona of Tim Scroat. He does pretty well, I think, to get under people's skin, and
does he? Haven't noticed.
It's always boded quite well for me. I think it works well. I think the secret, honestly, secret's effort. So it is a joke. It is a running joke that I don't care, but honestly, if you're not trying, if you don't care, you're just not gonna do it. Whether it's a trade, always being the guy hounding someone for a trade, or whether it's actually putting in a tiny bit of effort before the draft. It's just effort. You can't win. So you came very close this year, and the difference was you really grinded right at the end with effort. And because when it comes time, like crunch time, you have to do something.
Well, it kind of leads to the next question. Well, because like you don't particularly draft that well from year to year. Like looking back this year, you took Toby Green first round, which is a good pick. I would have taken him in that spot if I had it. Battle was in your best 18, who you drafted this year. Hewitt and Blitzarves were in your side for the grand final, who were like 50s and 60s type
they
guys.
all average around 50. Yeah,
they're not great picks. So like, how do you keep your team so dominant? It's obviously lots of trading, right? And you've won 5 flags in a row. And I don't think we probably should have mentioned at the top, but this is the ridiculous nature of this like kind of saga that we've got going on, and you don't really draft that well. So like, you keep topping up. So what's your trading philosophy? How do you keep it going?
There's a few parts of it. I do think like you can bang on about it, but you just need the guys that can go big. You need those guys. There's always going to, whether it's a 50 or a 60 plug and a hole isn't going to make a difference. So like, I just think you need to do everything you can to get the guys that do bulk points. Get bulk points. Doesn't matter what position they are. Who cares? That's and the other one with the drafting strategy is draft for value. Is what I've always thought. And like I always try and think. And I started on draft night and keep it the whole way through. Even if the guy is a piece of shit and is never going to score or have future, if you can get anyone in your league thinking that guy is value, like a Leo Lombard earlier in the year that you managed to trade off, like that was ridiculous. But because you've been spruiking it the whole time, you can sort of find someone. So I draft for value and then trade for points.
That was actually a philosophy of mine this year. I probably took a leaf. I kind of noticed that's what you do. So like I kind of took a leaf out of your book, and like my team was in like contending position, you know. So the philosophy should be that you draft players that you can add, and you might not pick the best up and comers, but you pick a guy that will get you a 70 or whatever to kind of complement your 12 good keepers you had. And the approach I took was very different this year. I took Fraser, I took Humphrey, I took Brady Hoff, I took a heap of players that are in their early 20s kind of before breakout. And the idea was to
turn into Jets via trade.
And that's what happened. I turned them all into kind of senior older players that were far better than any players that were available in the draft. So I think that is actually a good tip. And you're saying that you had no good advice to actually give, Tom, but you've come on here and you've actually given some great fantasy
I want to
advice.
give someone else a go. Like the other tip is to have someone in your league running a podcast where he tells you everything he thinks. I get the opportunity to keep all of my strategies close to my chest, but maybe it's someone else's turn next year. So,
what, to start a podcast?
No one's got the golden voice.
Hey, Tom, or Tim, sorry. Who will win a flag first between me and Heff?
Like you asked a week ago, I think Heff was probably heading into the week favourite, and some things didn't go his way. But he did what was required to try and have a proper red-hot crack. And the one difference he did is I never completely blew up my team, but I think he might struggle next year for the top up. I don't actually think his 12's that bad, but from memory he's lost a couple early draft picks and even mid draft picks. And I've always found the mid draft picks have been for the one going for a flag as being top up. If you can just get a couple guys, old guys who average 70 mid draft, it goes a long way. So I think Heff might struggle a bit next year and then be back the year after. You, on the other hand, I think get itchy feet. So I think whenever you're around the mark, you might get itchy feet and might do too many trades that always eventually you eventually burn yourself. It's a really tough one. You're both far closer than Jerry Rayner, coach of the the Saints, who just doesn't have that killer instinct that I think both of you guys have.
So risk averse.
Yeah.
Sleepy Jerry.
Well, anyways, yeah, I do agree I blew up my team, but it was kind of out of necessity because players got injured at the wrong time, and I feel like my window is closing very fast. But anyways, we'll stop turning this into a podcast about our league, and we'll thank you for coming on. One last question, I guess. What's the plan with your team for the future? Are you going again next year, or is it time for a rebuild?
I honestly reckon I will probably go again, as I will every year.
And forever again, most likely.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
You're welcome. The commissioner is welcome to bring in some new rules there if he wants to try and equalise some things up. I'm sure that it's worked in the past. So,
anyways, thanks for joining us. We'll let you get back to work, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you. All the best.
All right, so while we're here, we may as well look at a few players of the round, given that that's what we're supposed to do and not bitch about our own teams. And
my team's great. I don't know about your team.
We'll get onto your team eventually, but we'll go into some of the players. Angus Clark is the first one I want to talk about, one of your Bomber boys. Had 101 points. I'm really liking his role at the moment, but he's also like a decent size. Like, he's quite tall, but he looks like, so he can take a mark. I think he took 9 marks in this game, but it's hard to tell because a lot of them like chip around in these kind of games. But he's got a bit of dash about him as well for a tall fella. I don't know, he's just one that's kind of passing the eye test. What do you think?
Big time. Yeah, very impressed with his last couple of games, and obviously Bombers have been depleted by injury, and have given him a bit more responsibility, which I do like. And sneakily, I'm very, very happy because he's sitting in my my under 50 list for next year.
Have you got him?
I do. I picked him up in the mid-season draft.
Yeah,
so what's he going? 66, 98 and 101 in his last 3. And I think he was always touted to be quite a good ball user and have a bit of footy smarts. So probably one who wouldn't have got the opportunity had Essendon, not had these injuries in the year. But very happy he's in my side, and I think he's going to be a good long-term player for the Bombers too.
The next one I want to talk about, it's more on a personal note, just because I've got him on my side. Saad El Hawley only had the 68 points, but he's shown he can score well in low time on ground, had the half-back role back as opposed to the wing in previous weeks, last couple of weeks. I'm just not sure he's best 22 with a fully fit list.
He has not played enough games for me to be thinking he is.
Do you think he's worth keeping as an under 50, or will I find better in the draft than Saad El Hawley?
I don't think so. I think you personally are better off trying to find a good under 50 of someone.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Next one is Darcy Wilson. He kicked 5 goals and had 106 points. He's playing more forward. I think he's got forward status this season. I forgot to check it because he's been playing at the 2
he
so
does,
much.
yes.
Yeah. So I reckon he's one to watch if he gets forward, because he'll have a transition. I reckon they want him to play midfield eventually, and he could be a good mid forward for someone for a year or 2 there as well. So
he played a really good game yesterday, and the bits I saw, and I do want to just touch on Mateus Philippou. Like, I know he got injured again, but the 2 goals he kicked were really bloody good goals.
Yeah.
And I just feel like his scores the last couple of weeks have been very low because they've just I think they've just been wanting to get him on the field.
They haven't been putting him in the midfield.
He has not touched it. And, I think he's got the name, which I don't think you're going to get necessarily maybe some value in a draft next year or maybe trades. But I think if he can actually get through a full preseason fit, he's going to be a fantastic addition to that Saints midfield with, Nazire and co.
He's the injury-prone one. He's like your version of Brent Daniels for me. Like, could be anything, but also can't.
Just want his body to get right.
Can't get on the park.
Even in that snapshot from yesterday, you're just like, man, this kid can play.
Yeah. Hopefully he can get on the park for you. I've got no doubt he'll be a gun. I have doubts that he'll ever be
totally.
fully fit.
It's completely injury based. Yeah.
Flynn Young, who is a player I knew very little about, had 90 points. He's a mid-season draftee.
Are you making up players?
No, seriously, this is a player that scored 90 in the game against the Bombers, because I know you watch the Bombers religiously and you love watching them these days.
No.
But yeah, like he plays like a half forward role. He played like a half forward role, but he pushes up so high. Like I actually thought at times he was starting off half back because he was getting on the link up off the wings half back, but he just pushes up really high. So it's the type of role that you want for a forward. Again, I just don't know if he's, with everyone fit and firing, as a best 22 player for Carlton, if everyone's not injured and that sort of stuff. It's a bit similar to Essendon, I guess, but definitely one to watch after the weekend. Speaking of halfbacks, so Billy Wilson had 80 points. It's just with the changing of the guard at Carlton, it's very interesting. Like my boy Lockie Cowan's getting a lot of love on the Discord and everything lately. One I actually hit this year, which is great. So yeah, like that's happening with Doc gone, with Newman probably got 1 year left if he even does come in without injuring himself, that sort of stuff. And then Sard's kind of also fading off into the distance as well. Like there's a few probably spots on that Carlton half-back line.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with their list.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's one to think about. Sam Berry, if anyone actually read my article this late into the season for streamer options, he was featured in it, and it was just basically ranking out. I think Berry's the next one to go up. So that's one I'm liking at the moment.
He's been pretty solid this year in general. Like, not necessarily setting the world on fire in terms of huge fantasy scores, but I'd say his floor's been really good this year.
Yeah, 100%. So, if he can get a consistent spot, I think he'll be fine. I think he's moved past Matt Crouch now, which is great.
Totally. We haven't seen Matt Crouch.
The thing is, like, I don't think the Crows midfield is anywhere near complete.
No.
Like, more so
who they're going to add someone in at the end.
Draper and then maybe another draftee. And I think over the next 3 or 4 years, I think he might be the one that's squeezed. Yeah. But you might get a good season out of him. That's all. Yeah. And then another one of your boys that you've got is under 50, Harry Rouston. I'm just liking the mid-forward role because he's obviously not going to play forward for a long time.
No.
But if he's one that you can jag that forward status for a season when he's moving into the midfield.
He's on my list of maybe a keeper.
Like Humphrey's probably going to be that guy next year, I think. Like a guy this is a forward who moves into a midfield role.
Yeah.
Especially if Took kind of ages more in the off-season, that sort of stuff. Took, is it? Sorry. And that's the other thing. So that's the only players I want to mention from the weekend. I don't really want to go too in depth about anything else. We've kind of talked about everyone else throughout the year. Everyone's aware of everyone that kind of.
I assume you have.
Yeah. So, because you listen all the time.
Avid listener.
So before we kind of finish off with the questions, just want to plug the membership and basically say a huge thank you to all the members who signed up this year, but also those who have been with us for a very long time as well. Like, you guys are the reason I can spend a couple of days per week working on the show, sourcing all the data, writing all the articles, making all the content, that sort of stuff. Like, there's not enough time in the day without you guys actually like supporting me and giving me the time off to actually do it. So thanks heaps for the support for that. And basically, the more members I get, the more stuff I can do. Like, I want to make some new tools. Like, for example, I want to make a ranking tool for users to actually like drag and drop players and sort them out, sort of stuff. But then also feed in like the community rankings tool, my rankings, all that sort of stuff, so you can get kind of have an average comments, all that sort of stuff. So I want to build that into the current rankings tool we've got. Also keep the who would you rather kind of style, because I reckon it's a really good way to rank if you're served a few players.
Who would you rather?
In small chunks.
Yep.
So I want to kind of improve all that throughout the off season. Also want to see what Keeper does. They might come up with their own mock draft simulator. It might be irrelevant, but I want to improve the UX of our mock draft simulator as well. The user experience, sorry, should not use those terms. User experience.
Nerds listen to this podcast.
And like, just do little things like add custom draft orders so people can practice in their actual draft order of their leagues. We added the keepers in last week, which I want to, last year, sorry. And I want to improve the way that, because that's a bit clunky the way you added them. So I want to improve that, things like that. But again, need time to do that, need members to sign up if I'm going to have time to do that. So any kind of support there would be great. And the other thing is as well, I guess, like, I'm going to have to put prices up next year just because, like, just everything. Like, I've just got my new Adobe bill, which is through the roof. So I need to kind of cover those. So the thing is, if you sign up now, you'll get this year's, all the content next year on this year's prices. So
unbeatable.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like giving you the hot tip now. Do it if you're thinking about it and you haven't done it yet. Do it now, because you'll get the whole thing and you'll be locked into that as well. Like, whenever you sign up, that's what you're locked in as. So you'll never pay more than that unless you let it lapse or whatever. So it's probably the best way to do it. So if you're thinking about it, do it now. Anyways, thanks to the members for the support. Let's get into the questions and we'll finish off the show. A Zanker, one of our mates, who's been on the show actually, he's just thanking us for the no question, just a big thank you for another year of fantasy footy gold. Do you reckon he'd listen to us even if he wasn't mates with us? I reckon he would.
Yes, he would.
I reckon he would.
Yep.
That's nice.
Whereas I'm mates with you and I don't listen to you.
Using the term mate very loosely there, but anyway.
So I forgot my quotation marks.
Then Anonymous asks, for 2026, will Parker stay a forward and will Baker be a straight defender? They're both. I think Parker has had too many CBAs over the last 6 weeks. He basically, as soon as Wardlaw got injured, I reckon he was like full time in there past that, and they've kind of kept it up. He's had 81%. I haven't done this week's numbers, but he's been quite high the last few weeks. Definitely over like 50% for most of the last 6 weeks.
Truly over 50%.
Yeah. He's averaged 61 for the season. That doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room for a 35% forward. So I'm going to say no, which is
very detrimental.
Yeah, it is kind of, but he's old as well. He's probably got 1 year left. So, and will Baker be a straight defender? Now, from memory, he's had about a 15% CBA, so he will be definitely a defender. It's whether he gets that forward status as well, but I don't watch West Coast enough to know. But from what I've seen, it's only like very small chunks of forward. Like I'd say maybe like a 20-25% forward. So I'm going to say straight defender. But he is a player that's had the forward def before. So it could happen, and because keeper add extra positions on as well. Maybe, but I'm going to say at this stage, probably not. They're just going to be straight defender and Parker's going to be a midfielder. Ninja Spoon asked a very relevant question to me. How do you separate emotion when it comes to list cuts? And probably another guy in our league as well. I feel invested in my first and second year players that I took early, but they're right on the cusp of that cut hold line. Kaes, any tips here?
I like to get emotionally invested in my players.
I know you do.
But
you also trade quite frequently as well. Like you're a big trader.
I do like to trade. So, I've always one who's valued youth as opposed to potentially age. So, look, I think we keep 10, right?
Yeah.
12, sorry. I reckon you should allow yourself two
throw the dart.
Two of that 12.
Yeah.
Where you've maybe got a bit more of an emotional investment in. So, for example, who am I thinking about? Maybe like, I don't know who's on that cusp line.
Say if I had Joel Frazier on my list.
Yeah, I think you've hyped him up.
Yeah.
You've kind of put him as your boy. So like,
Bailey Humphrey's another one that would have been on the cusp.
I think you've got to roll the dice with that. So like, give yourself a couple, because I think that's the other thing. Like we talk about guys I've traded out and have lost me flags, or vice versa, but also at the same time on the flip side, it's like I'm sure there's people that that you didn't keep, and then the next year they broke out, or 2 years later they broke out, and you're like, man, why don't I just stick with my gut? So I think they're the ones that you just got to go, right. Like, if there's a guy that you really kick yourself that someone else has and he pops, I think you just got to cop that if it goes the wrong way. Yeah,
I think it a lot comes down to where your list is at as well. Like if you are a legit chance, but you like this guy who's not performing for you, probably got to get rid of him. If you're like miles off, you may as well just run with him, because like, I don't know, who else you got? And yeah, I feel like you'll always find other stuff in the draft if you're at that lower ebb. Like there's quite equivalents you can find in drafts of things that you want and need type thing as well. With the triple player positions in keeper, Daniel, Baker, Marich, Butterick, Nick Martin, etc., what positions will they have next year? Is Daniel locked for a defender? I think Caleb Daniel's a lock for a defender. I think Baker's defender. I think Marich, it's Marich, isn't it? Yes, it's Marich. I always say that one wrong because of Ivan Marich. Even though it's the same name, it should be Marich. He pronounces it Marich. But anyway, so Marich, I reckon, will be defender as well. Maybe defender mid, because he played a bit of wing time towards the end. I think Butterick could be dual, or I wouldn't say triple, because I don't think he's got the mid on him. But he might be forward def, as well. And then, because he's only moved to the defensive later, I think. And then Nick Martin, I think, will be probably mid. Is he mid only next year?
I'd say he'd be mid only.
Yeah, like wing. I don't know. Yeah, so maybe I don't like Bombers again. The shit teams, I've been bad this year. I've been watching the shit teams as closely and estimate how to watch, but I think he might be mid only.
I want to put it on the record that I hate triple position players.
Well, we haven't done it before, so
No, we don't do it, but
Yeah.
like other leagues do, and I think it's just dumb.
yeah, it feels weird to have like thing, but it's the same thing. People like utilities though as well, but
But that's a utility. That's
Yeah,
a
but
that's a decision. Like
Yeah, true.
the league choosing that you can play someone in 3 different spots is not for me.
all right, yeah. But anyway, that's my thoughts on those things. Richie N 96 wants to know: I've choked the flag and yet to win one. Do I keep side bottom Cornelio Shield or Shield types? Shield doesn't have a club right now, or hold Michael Laney, Harvey Thomas types. Keep 18, no early picks in next year's draft. I think you keep Harvey Thomas because he's moved up to the wing in recent weeks. He's got forward status and was scoring okay there. Michael Laney could go either way. Do I think, like, if you got to drop Shield, I reckon, because I don't think he's getting picked up by another club. Do you think?
No.
So you got to drop Shield. Cornelio just is not what he used to be.
He's also very injury prone.
Yeah.
Like I'm keeping side bottom over Mike Laney any day of the week.
Yeah.
Because Mike Laney's the lockdown. Like
And Michael Laney, you can get you'll be able to find another Michael Laney.
You'll get him again.
You'll find a defender that averages exactly the same as he is every
and he's
year.
not showing something that Worrell has or Malera has or you know, Hinge or someone like that. He's not got that
Yeah.
aggressive.
Don't like keep them just because they're young. Like if you're going to get a better older player and and if they've got no future potential, nothing that you've really seen, I think Michael Lane's too good of a lockdown to ever play an attacking role.
But going back to what we spoke about before with your kind of predicament at the moment, like this guy Richie's better off keeping side bottom. Side bottom's going all right. Your team's not going great. Move him on to a team who's going well. Like someone's going to want side bottom more than they're going to want Mike Laney next year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. So maybe think of it that way. But yeah, I'd keep Thomas, and that's probably it out of those, and maybe side bottom as well. All right, more tarded. Has TDK done enough to get forward position in keeper? I wouldn't have thought so. Like, the thing you got to remember with position changes, it's over the whole year and not really the full season. He's had 68% CBAs for the year, so that's going to be your champion data thing. He's definitely going to be ruck only. And to be honest, I'm not fully across the way Ryan calculates his dual position players. I know it's different. I think it's 3 weeks of if they're in a certain part of the ground, and then also what their profile update is. He'll never be ruck forward on that because they just don't have that kind of classification on the profile. I'd say it's a slim chance at this point in time. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I'd say slim.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all of the questions. Before we wrap it up, Kaes, we've kind of talked about my future team management. I was just thinking, for your team, do you want to run through what you're thinking about for the future?
Yeah, what I'm thinking about, I think I've kind of locked my 11 keepers, which I mentioned before: Ash, Mills, Rivers, Worrell, Callahan, Day, Winhager, Gawn, Warner, Flanders and Jackson. I think probably the final spot potentially comes down to a Ollie Dempsey if he gets forward status maybe. Josh Weddle and Nick Newman would be around the mark for me, but they'd be defenders, and I'm probably good with defenders. Under 50, you think Matt Philippou gets one of the spots, and then potentially a toss-up between Angus Clark and Harry Rowston. But the good thing for me is I've got 4 first-round picks.
There was a lot of interesting pronunciations of surnames there. But anyway,
I speak
your own language.
I speak Kaes. But I got 4 first-round picks, so 4 of the top 11 picks will be mine next year. So
see, I'm still on the fence whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I look at the trash that goes in the first round, and they're very hit and miss. But like at the same time, it could really set yourself up when you're comparing, like you're having 4 picks before I've even had my first one.
Yes,
type thing.
Yeah. No, and I think like it's going to be interesting to see who ends up in that pool.
Yeah.
I've got an okay split. I'd like to find one more good midfielder, so maybe I need to do a bit of trading in the off-season to get a proper...
I'll give you a 2 for 1.
Best 12 midfielder there. But look, I think if I could pick up one young guy and 3 guys who are solid, I think I've got the crux of my team's pretty good. Obviously, Gawn's still my really only reliable captain option. Finn Callahan and Lockie Ash are making their way there.
Badly.
So I think Gawn's there, but I tried to find that next kind of breakout midfielder. It didn't really come. I was
honestly, I think that's
surprised with
one thing
Winhager.
you need to actually do is perhaps you may have to give up like a couple of your young future gun potential guys to get someone who is going to be 100 plus average for the next
I
3 or 4 years.
Totally agree with that. But
Yeah.
I think the bones of my team's fine. just going to come down if I choke in the first round or not. I think that's what it will be.
It's going to be a very fun draft with that many picks and us just getting in your ear. So
No, I'm just going to be
looking forward to it.
And then as soon as that's done, I'm jumping straight in the pool. But
Got the blinkers on.
but no, I'm kind of excited about, there's the chance I might trade one or two of them. But if the right player comes along, but I'm kind of excited just to go, all right, I've got to pick the absolute eyes out of this draft pool and do the best thing for my team.
Anyways, we might wrap it up there because this is a lot of content for a podcast that probably not many people are going to listen to. So
it was very cathartic.
Yeah, if you've made it this far, thanks for listening this season. It's been a great year. It's probably potentially one of my better seasons of fantasy-wise, given that I won a Shiva Grand Final. I finished top in another league but went out in straight sets and then missed a Grand Final. Didn't win a Grand Final this year in the home league. So it's been a bit of a mixture, but I feel like the Shiva win kind of gets back in a little bit just because it's like a national comp and there's money involved and that sort of stuff.
But you didn't beat me, so it means nothing.
Yeah, did I not beat you for the season?
Oh, yeah, but what?
What'd you say? Sorry?
Shiva?
Yeah,
I don't
Shiva.
play Shiva.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean like in a home league.
oh, yeah, you beat me there.
Oh, yeah,
But,
sweet. I did beat you in terms of Grand Final wins. What are you talking about?
no, I don't play Shiva, so you can't beat me in something I don't play.
I get you. Sorry, I had no idea. Anyway, it's been derailed. We're getting delirious. We may as well wrap it up. Kaes, thank you so much
Pleasure.
for coming on for the final episode. And to the listeners, thank you for sticking around this season. Thank you for supporting the show. And we'll speak to you very soon. There'll be off-season content. You'll hear more from me at least. Maybe Kaes too.
Maybe.
And yeah, we'll talk to you soon. See ya.
Enjoy your off season.